Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the third episode of The Frisky Whiskey. This evening is going to be an interesting one, as the prior two. Mike D, why don't you take us through what we're doing today?
So tonight is Scotch. Let's talk single malts. We have three really good single malts to go through tonight. We have a Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve. Now, there's no age on this one, so I did a quick little research on it. And by Scottish law, you have to at least age them for 3 years before you can bottle it. Okay. And I did a little deeper research, and this particular one ages anywhere between 4 to 5 years.
Oh.
Okay. And the next one we're going to be going into is a Glenfiddich.
Okay.
12-year-old special edition Sherry Cask.
That's going to be good.
I think it's going to be really good. And then we're going to finish the evening off with a Macallan 12-year-old Double Cask, which is a American Sherry seasoned cask
that's one.
and a European oak cask.
I think I've had this one before.
So this is going to be a good episode. And you know, I want to start this episode right. I want to quote the great Ron Burgundy.
What did you say?
He said, "I love Scotch. Scotchy, Scotch. Here it goes down into my belly." The great Ron Burgundy.
Well said, Ron.
If you have a chance, check out his podcast because they are hilarious. So, T.I.,
Yeah.
ready for this evening's adventures?
I was born ready.
Okay, so we're going to start with, like I said, the Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve. This is one of my personal favorites. It's always in my house. It's a great everyday Scotch, if you will, but it's got a good flavor. You know, and Scotch to me is very noble.
It is.
You know,
but it's also been around for a minute, right?
It's been around. It's been drinking by kings.
Yes.
You know, like we should have a Scotsman here playing bagpipes for us while we're doing this.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Like maybe do some like
you know what?
coverage.
I should have bought the kilt while I was out at the Renfest last weekend.
Oh, you should have. You could have worn a kilt.
I could have worn a kilt.
That would have been awesome.
That would actually would have been pretty awesome.
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. So, like I said, our first one's going to be the Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve, and you know a little history on Glenlivet too, which is kind of interesting. Wow. George Smith started learning his craft of distilling whiskey in 1822. He's the founder of Glenlivet.
Okay.
And then the distillery was actually created in 1824 with his son, John Smith. And by 1839, they were producing 200 gallons a week.
Okay, so when did they start again?
1822.
I mean, that's old, but I would, like, for me, I always feel like Scotch is way older.
Like
way
1500s. Like, you know, like William Wallace Strait, you know?
Like, that's what I envision when I think of Scotch. So it's interesting that that's, like, how old it is.
Yep.
Not that it's young by any means. Right. I mean, it's still been around for, 200 years?
Yes. And the Gaelic meaning for the Glenlivet is Valley of the Smooth Flowing One.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
So it must be an homage to like maybe the streams and rivers that are there.
Yes, exactly. So let's get started.
Yeah.
So
well,
excuse me while I whip this out.
Let's get dug into this.
Yes.
It should be very interesting. So actually, while we were doing our typical research on our whiskeys that we're going to be drinking, came across an interesting fact. Okay. Did you know that every second 41 bottles of Scotch are shipped out from Scotland?
Wow.
41 bottles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
1.2 billion bottles a year. That's crazy.
And for my fans out there, if you ever go to Scotland, for God's sakes, don't call it Scotch. They will beat you up.
It's just whiskey.
It's just whiskey to them. They will know you're an American immediately, and they may not treat you well after that. Yeah. So you don't want to do that.
Unless you tip well, I guess.
Probably, but I wouldn't take my chances, because they have those hooligans and the soccer people. They go nuts there, right? So we got an interesting little flavor profile for tonight. We have a Mandarin type orange flavor we should be experiencing. Toffee. Okay. Some mint. Some pear.
Mint.
Apple.
That'll be interesting.
Vanilla. Banana. Cinnamon. And melon.
See, the mint and the melon are confusing to me. Like, I get the rest of them because, I mean, I've
a Caribbean cask. It's from rum. It makes sense.
I've had my fair share of Scotches.
Yes.
The mint and the melon, those are things that I'm going to be interested in trying out.
Yes. And, I love Scotch. That's been my thing for a very, very long time.
Say,
even before I got into my bourbons and ryes, I was a Scotch person first.
So it does smell like there is a little bit of fruit on that.
Yeah, and the color is very light.
It is.
It's a very light amber. It's not very dark. It's got some legs, but I'm not going to say there are a lot of legs. The legs are spread out when you swirl around in the bottle. It's definitely got a nice flavor. Yeah, you can. Yeah,
that's nice. You can kind of smell the that orange or the
Mandarin. The orange, the Mandarin. Yeah, exactly.
It's nice.
Probably some of that apples in there. All right, so you're taking that first taste, T.I. So what's going on in there?
That's actually pretty complex. I'm not going to lie. I can see where people get the mint, to be honest with you. It's weird that it pops up like that.
It's there somewhere. Yeah, it's really weird.
It's almost like, you know, when you chew mint gum and there's that freshness to it. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. As far as a mint goes.
This is tasty. Like I do
get the Mandarin straight off.
Yeah, and there's that softness of the pear in there. I'm not getting the toffee yet. I have a feeling that's going to come in when the ice gets in there. The cinnamon's probably that spice that you're getting on the tip of your tongue there. It's coming from that. Melon, I don't know about the melon yet. You know, banana maybe is there with that softness with the pear.
It could be that, the melon just kind of buried in there and we're not well versed enough to taste it. It's a pretty deep down there. Like, I don't know what that would be.
Yeah. And like I said, this is has a good, interesting complex of flavors. So, and I would like to think that, over the years, we've definitely grown that palate that we can pull these things out. But some are not always the easiest ones to pull out. You know, I used to do wine classes and wine tasting when I had a restaurant. And same thing with wine. Sometimes you couldn't pull that flavor out, no matter how much, the wine would tell you it's in there,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I will say, though, this is nice. I do enjoy it a lot.
If there is melon, it's coming at the very end because there's a taste at the end I'm getting. And maybe because I'm just never had a melon to my mind in a whiskey, even though I've been drinking this whiskey for a long time. I don't think I've ever really looked at the flavor profiles. I just enjoy pouring myself a glass and sitting back and sipping it at my house. Because like I said, this is one of the this is always in my cabinet. It truly is. This is one of my favorite easy scotches to drink.
It really is an easy scotch.
And the price point is between 25 and 30.
Yeah.
You go to a Total Wine, I think it was like $27.
Yeah, this is perfect. It's like the perfect price and flavor profile for someone who's trying to test out Scotch.
Get into it.
Because it's not peaty, it's not smoky, it's none of that stuff that people associate with Scotch.
Right.
It's actually really nice.
Yeah,
this is it's just something that you could just drink without ice.
This is a great gift for somebody that if they like Scotch, they'd be intrigued because it's a Caribbean Reserve. It's Glenlivet, so it's already got like that
uniqueness
to it.
Plus, it's also been aged 4 to 5 years, right? So it's already like exceeding like the bare minimum to be a Scotch.
And I bet you they do that because it's in the Caribbean cask, and they don't want it to be overtaken so much on this one because it is light. So since it's so light. Like I'm already looking at some of the other whiskeys the other scotches that we're doing tonight. The Glenfiddich already looks darker. The Macallan definitely looks darker. Yeah. Macallan, I love that name, Macallan.
It is a good name.
It sounds like somebody got to like run down your street with a sword and like scream Macallan and attack your neighbor's house.
I actually have a pretty cool story about Macallan when we get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, this is good. I like this a lot. I would highly suggest anybody pick it up, at least to try it.
Yeah. This is really good.
It's only, like you said, $27 over
$27, yeah.
It's totally worth the investment just to try it out. And worst case, you don't like it, it's going to be something cool if you do know another whiskey drinker to have them try it out.
Have it at your house. Yeah. Exactly.
Something you can keep in the cabinet,
Look, I even have a bottle of some peaty at my house. I won't drink it, but I have it. So I know somebody comes over who likes the peaties. I can take care of you. Yeah. Look, I barely drink gin. I got a bottle of Tanqueray at my house.
Yeah.
Just in case. Because I like to be a good host. When people come over, I want to make sure you have a cocktail that you like to drink when you come to my house. Yeah. There's always something in my house that you can drink.
That is fair.
So I think, it's just, I have enough people come over, so I know I have a good variety of friends that drink different things. I did have a gin thing once upon a time, but no more. Gin's that's a different drug.
I still like gin.
That's a different
Hasn't been ruined for me yet,
I still love my gin martinis. But we're doing Scotch tonight. We're having another conversation.
He just had the 1,000-yard stare, just so
Oh, yeah. All right, so I think
we should probably move to ice and see
a little bit of ice here. Let's finish what we have in here.
Yeah.
And the more I drink it neat, because I have to say I probably drink this 95% on ice. But the more I drink this neat, this is great neat.
It is. It's
got a nice little warm at the end, but not overbearing in the warm. It's really, that mint's there.
Yeah.
That mint is there. And I'm going to bet that we're probably going to get a little bit more of the apple and pear, definitely the vanilla, but vanilla and banana are going to be kind of close to each other. There's going to be that creaminess.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Creaminess that comes out of it. So,
so go ahead and grab a cube of ice there. So we actually did pair this fairly well tonight with dinner.
Oh yes, we got some good food pairings tonight from our local.
It was really good.
You first mentioned it before. We have a great little local gastropub
It's called Locale.
And we had a chicken quesadilla.
It was really good.
We had a Cuban sandwich egg roll.
Very good take on like a Cuban sandwich.
Yes,
it was tasty.
It was very tasty.
And the pork was very tender.
Yes, and then I got a special for us tonight.
This is the best
which was
one.
a nice little filet cooked medium rare.
Perfect.
With French fries, right? And they did it poutine style, so they did it with
the poutine gravy.
Poutine, sorry, I said it wrong. Poutine with the mushroom gravy.
Yep, it was a mushroom gravy and it was like a blue cheese sauce,
and you mixed it together.
Like cheese sauce,
and it was
ridiculous.
Delicious. And that goes great with the Scotch.
It really does.
I mean,
well, because so for Scotch, I think of like that nice hearty kind of food, and
yes.
I don't maybe poutine isn't the right thing to think of when you're thinking of hearty.
Right.
But it is heavy. It's fried food with cheese and
Gravy.
all that stuff. We just swapped out the cheese.
got gravy for the brain.
We just swapped out the cheese for steak.
Oh man. So how was your venture at the Renfest last week?
Man, I tell you what, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah?
That was. So I ended up going with a few people. It was one of my friends' birthdays, and when we got there, it was kind of weird. There was a lot of cars, but it didn't seem like a lot of people. Like when we first walked in, I think they were all packed way in the back.
Okay.
But immediately upon entering, they had like this parade thing going. So it was like the king and the queen of the festival is going through.
Oh, I remember they did that when I was there too. Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
it was pretty cool. They had like the pirates there. They had all these like people doing weird dances and
Right.
stuff. It was entertaining.
And your theme, I know you thought you were going to the bar maidens and wenches, but it wasn't.
Yes,
We
it
have
was
our
not.
theme weeks off. We were off.
It
our
was
theme
off.
Weeks.
Yeah. So this one was actually the steampunk.
Yeah, I had to look that up, man. I didn't even know what that was.
Honestly, it's very interesting, and people really get into it. Some of the costumes are pretty cool.
Okay.
Right. It's kind of like I actually have nothing to compare it to. Think of like bolts and copper.
Yeah, and it's like inventors, and they're
Yeah.
they're dressed like how you would dress for like back in the like 1800s.
Yeah, but with like modern-ish type of bolt-on like gear.
Okay. Now, were they doing like this? Were they still doing the jousting?
Oh heck yeah, yeah. All that stuff stays on there.
And they have the
yeah.
knights fights.
Yeah, all that.
Did you see your comedians? Those three women.
So they weren't there, but they did have another guy doing like a comedy act.
Okay.
And he was by the main stage. So like as you're getting into the place, walking through all the initial shops, he was up there and he started while we were in the beer line. So he was pretty raunchy. Like there's definitely a reason for the R-rated warning on the tent.
Okay. So I just took a sip of this with the ice, and let me tell you, it definitely mellowed out. It definitely mellowed out a little bit, and I'm still getting. I'm definitely, like I said, I called it out. The apple's coming out, for sure, in my opinion. The apple's coming out, and it's getting creamy. I'm not going to say vanilla banana. I think it's a little combination of the two.
Yeah.
Melon, I'm still a little iffy on. Like I said, I think I got it when it was on a neat side. The mint's gone. I think that mint is gone. The cinnamon's still there, because I'm still getting a little spice somewhere in the end. It's not as there.
Yeah. No, so I'm still tasting 100%. That Mandarin is right up front and center. The apple's like right after it.
Yeah, yeah.
The vanilla's in there.
The creaminess comes in. Yeah.
It's nice. It's almost kind of not buttery, but kind of almost in that realm.
So that's where the toffee's coming in, right? Because
Yeah.
toffee's made with butter.
Yeah, so it'd be like that toffee.
Yeah, it's not toffee coming in. That's not butter. I think the butter, vanilla, and banana are kind of mixing there.
And I guess, if this melon was...
It could be any kind of melon, too. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm trying to think of the background, like
it's
flavor
not cantaloupe. There's no way it's cantaloupe.
So I was thinking like a honeydew,
Yes.
right? It's a really light flavor. You
Yes.
can't really get much out of it, but it does have like a kind of sweetness to it.
Yes.
That's what I think it is.
Yes.
So no, this is pleasant.
No, this is very nice.
I like this.
I think it's great neat. I think it's great on the ice. Like I said, I have this at home a lot, so I will always. I said, 95% of the time I'm drinking this on ice. I'm smoking my cigar. I'm just watching TV. If I'm not smoking a cigar, it's a really good sipping, everyday Scotch, if you will.
Yeah.
Because there's everyday Scotches, and then you have your Scotches that are a little more expensive that you don't want to. You want it to last longer in your collection. You don't want to kill it. This is something that goes every day.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be hiding this away from everybody. Be like, hey, check out this cool, kind of interesting Scotch I have sitting around.
Exactly, where I may hide my compass box.
Yeah,
I'll share it with you because I like you, but anybody else, I don't share my compass box with. And those are blends, and we're going to do a blend show down the road.
Yeah,
because I've always been a single malt guy. I mean, my heart is with single malts.
Yeah. But you can't knock a good blend.
Oh no, there's some great blends out there. I mean, Buchanan is a great blend.
Yep.
You know,
actually, I just finished that bottle myself. Yeah,
nice. Yeah. There's Monkey Shoulder, which is a good blend. But there's some great blends out there. Glen Shivitz makes a great blend. They have different years. If you get a chance, you got to go to Costco. They opened up their the new liquor store, and it's much bigger and a lot more selection in there.
Hey.
And what we should actually try, maybe I should have grabbed it for tonight. Now I'm thinking about this out loud. You know, they have the Kirkland Scotch, and they have the 19-year-old single malt, which is an odd year if you think about it.
Also, I don't know how to I know Kirkland brands. It's really good, right? But I also don't 100% trust the 19-year.
So, Total Wine. I'm going to jump from Costco to Total Wine real quick. So, Total Wine has this brand that sells to them only called Battle Hill. And what Battle Hill does, they go to Glenlivet, they go to Glenfiddich, they go to Macallan, they go to all the different distilleries, and they say, listen, you don't obviously use all your casks. Like, there's always some leftover casks after you get done bottling that whatever they're bottling. So they'll say, we'll buy your leftover casks. We're going to sell it, rebrand it, call out the name. We're still going to call it Macallan as an example, but we're going to now age it an odd year that you don't sell. So like Macallans are 12, I think it's 12, 14, 18 they have, right? So they'll have their own one that's like a Macallan 15. Or they'll have a Glenlivet, like a classic Glenlivet's 12 years. So they might age it to like 13 years. So that and it's a deal they had made. It's only bottled for Total Wine.
See, now that's important for everyone to know. Is like if you get something like that, it might actually be the 12-year, but they're labeling it different. Right?
They're labeling it different, but they're still calling out what it is, but they're aging it an odd year. So it has to stay in that barrel to age.
Oh, so they leave it alone for another year.
Yes, because it stops aging. The second you put Scotch, whiskey, any type of thing in a bottle, it stops aging.
Yeah.
But it ages in the wood.
Yeah.
So they'll age it an additional year to age it for odd years.
It's so weird.
I don't think you've ever had the Battle Hill with me. I haven't bought one in a while, so I think I'm going to pick one up just to have when we hang out again.
You know what would be a kind of a cool episode is actually taking store brands and battling them against each other.
Okay.
I don't know if Sam's Club has one. I don't know. I know Costco does.
Costco. I've never been to Sam Clubs, but Total Wine has a couple of those. They have they have Battle Hill, and they have this other one, which I can't remember the name right now, because I remember I bought one of those once. I dropped a dime on that one, if you will. It was like $120 for the bottle. It was like 19-year-old, and it was this like distiller I'd never heard of. I can't remember it, and it was amazing. Like that was the one like I savored. Like that one lasted 6+ months in my cabinet.
Yeah.
I had only had like one glass for myself. I wouldn't share it with anybody. This is before we were hanging out, so it was so good. And the Battle Hills are like that too. So there are ones out there like that.
So it's still good. It's good quality. It's just off, different aged, brand, renamed, and then aged off. It's just
age and off year. But they call out who it is. But they call it, they still respect who it is. They're not telling you it's not, it's so it's just kind of cool. So
I'd hope they wouldn't do that. It's kind of rude.
That would be exactly. And that's the deal they make. Like, because these guys want people to know you're drinking their whiskey, their Scotch.
It just happens to be this weird year.
Yeah. So, but I think funny. This is really tasty, and this is not a contest tonight. Like last episode was Battle of Rise. This is not like that.
This is just opinions.
This is opinions, and once again, I think for that price point, $25 to $30,
you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong with this. You can't go wrong.
I would definitely buy this.
All right, so now we're gonna move on.
Now, what do we got?
We're going into the Glenfiddich. Once again, these are all classics right here.
Absolutely.
These are dead classics right here. Yeah. Glenlivet, Glenfiddich, Macallan. I mean, these are ones, like I said, noble. Like we're drinking the noble scotches today, So this is a Glenfiddich special edition 12-year-old sherry cask.
That's going to be that'll.
And it's funny. Like I was going, I wanted to get some information on them, and on their website, the Glenfiddich website, you can't even find this on their normal website.
That's great.
They have a special website just for this one.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just kind of cool.
So you really had to do some digging.
Yes, because I was like, why can't I find this on their website? It was driving me crazy. So then I, obviously used the mighty Google, the cyber dynamo of our generation. They're taking over. It's happening. And then I typed in Glenfiddich 12-year-old sherry cask, and boom, it's its own website.
That's crazy.
So, and for the flavor profile that we're going to be experiencing with this one is going to be definitely different than what we just took.
Okay.
All right. So we're definitely going down a different road of flavor. So it's going to have some sweet, some fruit, oak,
cinnamon,
nutmeg, and a hint of baked apple.
Okay, so that is a lot of sherry flavors, though.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting.
Yes. So I'm expecting this to be a little sweet.
Yeah.
You know?
So I will say, like, in the bottle, you can definitely tell it's a redder color.
Yes.
It's definitely a little bit darker. So that's nice. Let me see what it looks like when it's actually poured. Oh, yeah. That's definitely like a deep amber. That's nice.
It's a little bit darker. Yeah. I would call it deep, but it's definitely darker than that one.
It's deep. Well, because, I mean, you know, this is going more like...
That's deep.
It's deeper.
The double oak, the double cast. Did I give me the same amount you got?
No, come join me.
Yeah. Gotta make it fair across the board.
Yeah. Here, I'll set it down so you can measure yourself again. There you go.
Yeah. Right, lay it on the table. So you know we've been friends for a long time. Yeah. You know you don't know my history of Scotch.
I don't.
So my daughter's 11 years old. So it was about 3 years before she was born I got back into Scotch because there was a time period in my 20s I would drink Scotch in a certain way. I was an immature drinker back in the
Gotcha.
days. Now,
we all start somewhere.
Right. Now, you know, we're mature drinkers now, right? We're not going out to the bars. We're not drinking till God knows what happens. But you know, we got more mature in our years, and Scotch is when you start enjoying Scotch, it's a much more maturing drink to have. Yes. And, but back in my 20s, I would do shots of Scotch.
Ooh,
right. So I used to be in a restaurant business, and anybody out there been in a restaurant business, you go out and party after work. You have cash in your pocket. You go out with your buddies after work, your coworkers. You go out drinking. My drinking choice back in the day was vodka. It was vodka tonic, vodka cranberry,
and shots
vodka,
of Scotch.
So, well, my three shots of choice was tequila, SoCo and lime, or Scotch. And when I would order Scotch, I'm like, just give me your cheapest Scotch. I don't care what it is. So most of the time it was probably Dewar's if I had to take a guess. Yeah. But I would do shots of Scotch because I liked the way it tasted. But before we get into that, let's give this a quick little.
You hurt my feelings.
Oh, I got more to tell you about that.
Oh man.
Oh, this smells.
I know it smells amazing. It smells nice. It's like sweet, subtly.
I'm gonna think that's that nutmeg we're getting in there.
I could sense like I don't know, maybe a little bit.
The oak. Well, I'm not getting the oak, but it's definitely the sweet, the apple.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's pleasant. That's nice. That's deep. That's a deep flavor.
That's a deep. Yeah, you're right. That's a good way of describing it. That is deep.
Like it starts off
like it's very very mature. Like I was talking about being a mature Scotch drinker. This is like the Glenlivet was good.
This
but
is matching you.
This is mature compared to what we just had.
But you can definitely taste like the fruitiness, like some of that. Like, is nutmeg like a seasoning?
Nutmeg, it's a nut. It's like a nut thing that you grind
like
it, and it's used.
I know
in
what
baking.
it is. Yeah.
It's used in baking.
But is it a seasoning or is it an herb?
It's a nut. It's not. I can't call it. If you ever seen nutmegs, they're little nuts.
I know. I've used them before.
So I don't know if I call it an herb.
Yeah. What is it? It's a seasoning.
Root. Maybe more of a root almost. But you grind it like a seasoning. Yeah. You have to grind it.
Yeah.
You just. I guess you could throw nutmegs into like a pot you're making, and you pull nutmegs. You wouldn't eat a nutmeg.
Yeah, I don't think
that would be horrible. Oh my god. But. If there's spice in there, that's the cinnamon for sure.
Yes.
But there's definitely sweet. There's definitely fruit. I'm not getting the oak really just yet.
Well, I think it's
a little bit there.
It's there.
It's there.
Oak to me is more what you're going to be pulled out of the wood.
Yeah.
Right. That it was aged in.
Wow, this is tasty. So back to my story I was telling you about. So and because I was drinking vodka back in the day,
murdering Scotch.
You put a Russian and a Scotsman in the same room, chances are you're not going to remember much. Things happen. You wake up the next morning, you're surprised you got home and your car's in a neighbor's driveway parked sideways. And look, we've all been there, right? We've all, in our young days, your college days, or if you didn't go to college, you drink a lot. You
did stupid stuff.
Next day your friends had to tell you what you did, or you had to ask what you did. You black out, or as I like to call time traveling. Yeah. Everyone's done it. You're at a bar, you're drinking.
Become Doc Brown out.
Right, yeah. You're at a bar, you're drinking, you black out, you wake up, you're at the bar, you're drinking, you black out, you wake up, you're at Hard Rock, you're $8,000 down at the craps table, and you're blowing a guy for a sandwich. It happens to everybody. Everyone knows that happens. You keep drinking, black out. 2 years later, you're working at a strip club, dating a carside stripper, and helping her count her singles. We've all been there, right?
I think you walked that road alone, my friend.
You're shaking your head at me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not a judgment.
You're judging me. Don't judge me.
I'm still stuck on the fact that you took shots of Scotch. All the rest of it I can forgive.
You know, it's funny when I had my restaurant. I had this restaurant in Long Island, New York, and had a lot of these Italian customers. And like I told the guy, yeah, I like Scotch. So he brings me a gift. He brings me a bottle of Johnny Walker Red, right? But I wasn't appreciating Scotch then, so I just took it home before I'd go out. I'd do a couple shots of Johnny Walker Red. Yes, it was horrible. But then we broke up
first.
But then me and Scotch broke up. There was a breakup.
Well, because it wasn't it. It was you.
It was me. It was me. And then, it wasn't until, like I said, it was about, my daughter's 11. So it was about 3 years before she was born. I got reintroduced to Scotch. And I was like, wow, what was I doing?
Everything wrong.
Like and actually what got me back into it was a classic bottle of Glenlivet 12-year-old. Yeah. And ever since then, it was funny. It was almost like a flip of a switch. I was a wine guy at that point. I was drinking lots of reds. And like a flip of the switch, within probably 2 months, I think I quit drinking red wine. And I just went into a Scotch mode.
Well,
and all I drank was Scotch. I lived close to a total wine, which is very dangerous. But in my mature age now, it was a good dangerous because I could probably go to Total Wine and pick out Scotches you never heard of, and they're all good. Yeah. And I'm happy that happened to me, if you will. Yeah. It really, and then I enjoyed them. I wasn't downing them. A bottle would last a good amount of time in my cabinet. If I bought a bottle, it wasn't gone the next day. It was be there for a couple of months. Then again, I also bought like 4 or 5 bottles, so I would mixed them up. So I like flavor. You've been with me long enough to know that I'm a man that likes variety.
We both
flavor.
appreciate
yes,
the
we both
variety.
appreciate it. Yeah. So here's some interesting facts about Glenfiddich too. It started in 1886 by William Grant. Okay. He had a dream to build his own distillery with his family. So they actually built the distillery stone by hand.
That's kind of cool.
That's very cool. They started producing in 1887.
Okay.
And still to this day, it is one of the few ones that are actually still family run and owned. It's still owned.
That's a cool history.
It's still owned by the Grant family, where like the Glenlivet we just had was bought out by it's not family owned anymore.
Gotcha.
I think that one was bought out by some French company.
Okay.
They're still keeping the tradition the right way, and they still have the right distillers and the master distillers, but
it's not in the family.
It's not in the family anymore.
They bought the name.
Right. And the Gaelic meaning of Glenfiddich is Valley of the Deer, which if you look at their logo,
it's a deer.
It's a deer.
Yeah. That makes sense then.
So it's interesting with history. And I like the fact that it's still family run and owned. Like they kept that in the family.
I like that.
They must have an amazing cellar.
Bro, can you imagine?
Like they have bottles that not beyond rare.
Yeah.
Like they only have that one bottle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sitting down there, it's like 100-year-old.
Yeah. I'm assuming like the Glenlivet family, they must have their own, like the remaining family members probably have a basement. Yeah. And if I met this guy from Scotland and he was basically telling me like, and this is really some good advice for you Scotch drinkers. Put your Scotch, if you have a wine cooler and it's set for red wine, put your Scotch in there. Because in Scotland, they keep all their
in the cellar. In
the cellar, which has it's a cooler country than America for the most part. And so it's always at a certain temperature. So until my red wine cooler broke, I used to keep all my Scotch in there. And it actually had a nice little coolness to it. Huh. But it wasn't cold, but it had that red wine coolness.
Nice.
So it's a good little piece of information. I met this man that was at a conference, and me and him became best friends that night. We were drinking I think at the bar we drank an entire bottle of Belvini together. Me and my Scotland buddy. But when you drink good Scotch,
it makes a difference.
You don't feel bad in the morning. You don't. You really don't.
You really don't.
I've never, to my knowledge, back not counting my early 20s and early 30s. That little 10-year time period. I never had a hangover or felt bad the next morning after a good night of drinking Scotch with friends. Maybe drank a little bit too much, but I wasn't hurting.
Yeah. You'd be like a little tired, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting older too. I slow down really easy. Yeah. You know how that goes. But yeah. So this is very tasty.
Fantastic.
I never had this one. I've had I've had the classic Glenfiddich 12. And I've had the 15. I've seen the 15. I've had the 15, but I've never seen this one, and that's why I grabbed it.
I know I've seen it. This is my first time trying it.
And the price point on this one is $50. It was like $52.99. And this is once again at Total Wine. So we went from the Glenlivet that was, we'll call it between 25 and 30. Yeah. This one is 52. Okay. This is, once again, a great gift for someone you know who's a good Scotch drinker.
Yeah.
Honestly, they would
appreciate
this.
This neat is ridiculously good.
Yes.
Like, I wasn't lying when I first tasted it, and I was like, this is deep. Like, it was weird, like, how much flavor was packed into that first sip.
Yes. Yes. Yes, this is really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually sorry that I haven't actually tried this earlier in my life.
Yeah. Kind of ruined it.
No, this will be a new on my list of rotation.
Yeah.
You know.
But still, we could have had it longer.
Yes, but this is definitely on my rotation list for sure. You know, this one, like, because it's in the $50 range. This one will be treated a little bit differently than the Glenlivet, in my opinion. Yeah, you know, may not be the everyday Scotch.
No,
it might be the weekend Scotch.
Could be the weekend Scotch. Could be the end of the night with friends.
Weekends are made for Scotch.
Are you just making a logo for all Scotch right now? A little jingle.
A little jingle for Scotch weekend. But actually, I don't know if you remember, because I'm a little bit older than you. There used to be a commercial for Michelob. Weekends are made for Michelob. So that's where I got that from. It's like, now, like, it used to be weekends are made for Michelob. If you older listeners out there, you know what I'm talking about. But so I think that's a great jingle for Scotch. Weekends were made for Scotch.
Yeah, but it's too generic. It's every Scotch.
Every Scotch. It can be. Well, you know what?
Every Scotch deserves to be weekend.
Well, right? Yes, there are some bad. Well, there's... Okay, Cuddy Shark's a horrible Scotch. I tried that in the recently. It was horrible. Did you try that bottle of JB that someone gave me? Did you try that? So JB is an old school, like, you go to a country club, you're gonna see JB.
I think you made me try it.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible. It was, you know, it wasn't great.
It doesn't impress.
It's not impressive. That's an old man Scotch. That's an old man Scotch.
It'll get the job done.
It would get the job done. You know, you don't buy that for a gift for somebody. No. But every bar, maybe country club bar will have JB, because that was like back in the 70s and 80s, probably that was a mainstay Scotch. Yeah. You know, before the revolution happened, where Scotches and whiskeys and bourbons moved up a notch. Yeah. And the level
became
of
popular
drinking.
again.
It moved up a notch.
Yeah.
It wasn't your grandfather's Scotch. You know, just Dewar's, which isn't bad. We've had Dewar's multiple times. I like Dewar's.
I like Dewar's White Label.
Yes, Dewar's White Label is a great Scotch.
It's a great Scotch.
You know, and that's like a $22 bottle. Yeah. You know, we've recently tried some Dewar's at the Portuguese blend.
Yep.
And they have a Japanese one. Did we try a Japanese one yet?
We did.
That was really good.
That was very good.
You know, and so there's some really good Dewar's now that are out there. So don't turn your nose to Dewar's out there, people. You know,
don't turn your nose to anything. Give it at least a shot. It might be the thing that you like.
Turn your nose to Cuddy Shark.
Hey, someone likes it enough to keep that place going, right? So
that's the old school grandfather who's still drinking it.
Hey, if you're an old school grandfather, or you're pretending to be an old school grandfather, go buy yourself some Cuddy Shark.
Let's bring in some ice now. Let's bring in the ice. All right. Help me. Thank you.
There you go. All right. Got some ice going.
All right. Good. All right. So let's bring this baby back out.
It's going to be... I'm interested to see where this takes us.
Yes. Leave yours there. Leave yours right there.
Yeah, I know.
Because we're not using a jigger tonight, which is probably bad.
Even Stevens.
Bad pouring, because I like using jiggers.
Well,
But it's not needed.
It's only...
Not for a Scotch night. You don't need a jigger for a Scotch. You know?
It's not like we're making anything fancy.
No, there's no cocktail. You don't... I mean, there are cocktails.
That smells crazy.
Yes.
Is that like... Hold up. So you said cinnamon, nutmeg, apple, lots of apple. I don't know why, but I smell...
Don't say melon.
No, vanilla. I smell cantaloupe. On the nose.
Wow, but this is really...
No, the smell, it has that vanilla smell.
So if that's the nutmeg, that would be, in my opinion, nutmeg. 'Cause nutmeg is sweet. Like I said, it's used with desserts.
Mm-hmm. That's good. This is really good. This actually is better with ice.
Yes. Even though I really enjoyed it neat, this is much better on ice.
Yeah. Well, it mellowed out that weird punch right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
And what's the first flavor that was on there? So it said sweet, fruit, oak, cinnamon, nutmeg, hints of baked apple. You know, I guess the oak was in the neat. The oak is gone at this point.
Yeah. Well, that might have been that depth of flavor that we were picking up first.
The cinnamon, the spice is still slightly there. It's on the side now more.
Yeah. It's more at the tail end rather than the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a better way of saying it. It's not on the side, it's actually on the tail end. But wow, this is tasty.
Yeah, this is a really good.
I feel like having a cigar right now. Oh my gosh. Wow, this is really, really good. Oh,
well, I guess we figured out what we're having a cigar to.
Yeah, for our victory cigar tonight.
For our victory cigar.
So we'll be talking about a cigar later tonight.
Yeah. This is really good though. I like this.
Valley of the Deer. I love that.
I'll go to the Valley of the Deer if this is what's in there to drink. Jeez.
You know, we're gonna have to one day, one of our shows, we'll have to fly out to Scotland and do a show out there.
And if we're gonna do that, we may as well go to Ireland too. Have some Irish whiskeys.
Oh yes.
And we'll probably go to England. I'm sure they have whiskeys. We'll go to France because they own one of the whiskeys.
No. Let me tell you, I have nothing. Look, French make great wine. If you ever had a French beer, it's like the worst thing I ever had in my life.
Widow Jane. Is that the one that they're from?
No, Widow Jane's from New York.
What's the one that was out there that we had before then?
Not from France.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
When?
The whiskey festival 3 years ago.
Whiskey from France?
Yeah.
No.
We were both blown away by it. Because we were both like, wait, the French make whiskey? We were confused. But it was, and I thought it was Widow Jane because it was like at that station. They were like feeding us all sorts of random.
They were, but Widow Jane's out of New York, which we're going to be talking about Widow Jane
Eventually.
Probably 2 weeks
2 weeks,
now.
yeah. Probably something like that.
Because we do have the Whiskey Fest coming up next weekend, and I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to talk about that in our next episode a little bit. We're going to kind of preview some of the VIP whiskeys we're going to try and get our hands on.
Yep.
And we're going to
definitely stick around for that episode.
Yes, because
if you want to get notified of that, just make sure you follow and like our stuff so that you always know when we're dropping the new episodes.
Yes,
because episode 4 is going to be fun.
Episode 4 is going to be talking about going to it. Episode 5 is going to be the one that's going to be a review.
That I like talking about the things that we're going to get to drink.
Yeah. And we have, and you know, we've mentioned it before about the Whiskey Fest. You got to have a plan going in.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're like a kid walking into Toys R Us for the first time, and you don't even buy the toy you want. You buy
all the other toys at the door.
Right at the front. You don't even make it past the first aisle, man. You're done. You know. So we actually plotted out and we actually ranked and some of our rankings based off knowledge from previous Whiskey Fest. We know Widow Jane's going to be good. We know that Old Forest is going to have a really good one for the VIP. So we have them ranked out so we can get to them in time.
But then some of them are just ranked because we've never heard of the brand or we've never heard of the bottle and it's old.
Or the age.
And we're like, we're only going to get a shot to drink this once in a while because it's probably a $300, $400 bottle.
Right. And you're getting a $50 shot out of it,
yeah,
which is nice. So that's going to be a great time. But this wow, you killed yours.
Bro, it's really good. It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
It's
doing shots like I used to do, man. Don't be blowing a guy for a sandwich at the Snug, dude. That's the worst.
Oh Jesus. Oh man.
Like I can't get over how good this is on ice.
Yeah, it's actually completely different.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's way better.
And you know what's funny? I almost bought the 14-year-old bourbon cast. I almost bought it. I was actually holding both. So I had a gift card. So the Glenlivet already had. This was a gift. And Macallan was a gift. And I had a gift card for Total Wine. So that's why I was like, I got the scotches for us. I'll take care of the scotches. So when I was at Total Wine, I was literally holding both in my hand. And I think I even texted you that I bought the bourbon one, not realizing what I actually bought. So I'm glad that my subconscious.
I think the universe guided your hand in the right direction. Was like, no.
My subconscious took over and said, dude,
you know the flavor profiles we like. Dude, get away from that.
Yeah, you know.
We don't want a Scotch bourbon. I mean, that's weird.
Well, I bet you it's gonna be tasty.
It'll probably still be tasty, but I'm just saying we just did
Battle of Rye recently
and the bourbon stuff.
You know, we did the Australian whiskeys, which kind of fall closer to the bourbons because
we don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah, we're definitely getting back. We love our bourbons.
If we're gonna do bourbon, we're gonna do a full-on bourbon episode.
Oh, and that's coming. I think we're gonna do a bourbon under 30 pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think we're bringing some guests.
Yeah.
We got some guests
We do
coming
have some
in.
guests that are coming in.
We got some guests coming in. We got Jacob coming in who knows his bourbons.
Very excited.
He has his own. He has his own little personal vault, if you will,
Yeah.
of special bourbons that he gets. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, to see what he brings to us. So
this is delicious, though. Definitely.
And the more the ice, and actually the more that the ice melted into it, the cinnamon's gone now.
Oh yeah,
that cinnamon's gone.
No, that's spicy. That's what it is. Spices.
Yeah, the cinnamon's gone.
Nutmeg. It's a spice.
The nutmeg, the baked apple is more present now.
Yeah.
Than it was before. This is just really good, and
I dig it.
I'm gonna have to requote the great Ron Burgundy. I have to. I love Scotch. Scotch. Here it goes down into my belly. Love it, San Diego.
It's San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. That's right. That's how he said it. Yes. No, actually, I mentioned it before. Check out his podcast. They are absolutely hilarious. They just 2 seasons, and that's one of probably Will Ferrell's greatest creations, in my opinion.
I agree.
Next to Ricky Bobby, which I love. But Ron, so those podcasts that he does, nail it. And he has good guests.
It does.
He had one with Peter Toolidge. That's one of the funniest ones. He had done with the guests. They are awesome. So check them out. They're really good. All right. So I think, as the hour's going on here, we are going to be moving into the Macallan. This is time. We're going to Macallan.
I'm a huge fan of Macallan.
I'm going to pull out the sword. Like I said, I'm going to attack your neighbor. Act like William Wallace.
You have to throw it and yell freedom. That's the only way it works. You can't have a claymore and not do that. So my first introduction into Macallan. So this is that story I was going to tell you about.
Okay.
All right. So my first introduction into Macallan was probably 2014, 2013, maybe 2014. But I went to a really nice dinner at the Okeechobee Steakhouse. So they did a whiskey food pairing night.
I didn't go with you that night. Yes.
Yeah. So, and they do it, like, honestly, if anyone listening really wants to get a cool experience, join the mailer for Okeechobee Steakhouse, because they do occasionally drop tickets for those random dinner and events.
Okay.
Now, they're going to be around $250 to $300, right, when they pop up. But they're going to be a full, like, I think it's like 7 courses, right? So you get, like, the full entrees. You get like the starters, you get the desserts, and it's all paired with whatever whiskey.
And I'm guessing steak too.
Yes. Oh, the ton of steak. So I went to it and I fell in love with Macallan. I was like, I need a bottle. So the first thing I did was ran out and I picked up a bottle of number 4.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Yes. That's their special edition ones. Yes.
Yeah. Because it was just so dang good. So, yeah, but I'm pretty sure I had this one on the list. There was a bunch of them. They had so many bottles. It was so good. Anyways, all right. So here's a flavor before you touch it. Okay.
Calm yourself. T.I.
Hands behind my back.
Hands behind your back. Sit down. All right. So we're going to be looking at some orange here, a little citrus, caramel, vanilla, oak, spicy, cherry, and sweet sherry. Go figure. Right, because remember, these are aged in first American sherry casks and then European oak casks. So they're aged in 2 different kinds of barrels.
So now hit me with those flavor profiles one more time.
Sure. We got citrus, caramel, orange, vanilla, oak, spicy, cherry, and sweet sherry.
Okay. So this is going to be a weird. It's either going to be super sweet or it's going to be like one of those things that flows nicely, and we're going to get like that butteriness from like the caramel and vanilla kind of in the middle.
Did you clean your palate out? Clean your palate out on this one, because we just went through something really unique. Now the price point once again on this one is $72 at Total Wine. So if you think about our price points tonight, we went. I'm just going to call it 30 for right now for Glenlivet, 52 for the Glenfiddich, 72.
A nice little step up.
So it's nice. We're stepping our way up, like almost like a slinky, but going the other direction, going up.
Yeah.
It's Scotch. It's Scotch.
You can get the vanilla caramel right on.
Oh
the back.
wow! When you smell it, that vanilla, the caramel's there.
That's really nice.
That sweet sherry's there. Oh wow!
Yeah, that's like straight up caramel.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Like as soon as you smell it, that's really good. With a little bit of stuff in the background.
That is so sweet. That's like silk. Like honestly, that I just drank silk. Everybody, I literally just drank silk. That's how good that was.
I haven't had this one.
I mean, this is silky.
This is good. This is why I like Macallan.
Right? This is why I'm going to attack your neighbor next. I mean, this is... Okay, if there's spice in there, I'm not getting it whatsoever.
It's super light, though. But the spice is at the end of this train, right?
You know,
the spice
it's got a light color. Once again, it's a light amber to dark color. It's got a nice set of legs when you swirl it around in a glass.
Man, this is fantastic.
There's a hint of oak. There's oak there. The oak's in my... When you push it up to the top of your mouth, you get the oak.
I agree.
But I mean, this is definitely caramel, vanilla, sweet cherry. It may be a little cherry in there too. A little cherry because there's a little bitterness, a little touch of bitterness there. I'm not sure about the orange just yet. I don't know if orange is in there. Spice,
it's light, but I mean, like for me, like it's.
I'm not getting any oak either. Oh my
that
gosh,
butteriness
so
right at the beginning
good.
is so tasty. It's like you don't even know you're drinking Scotch.
Oh my gosh, this is delicious.
So this one, I will say.
Like actually,
in my opinion, this is worth $72.
Oh,
it's an experience.
I actually wish right now, which I'm not going to do it on this show. I wish I had that steak with the mushroom gravy.
Oh, the poutine.
But just eat that with this.
That would be so good.
Oh my gosh! Like I know
the char would be.
I mean, we ate before, and we drank while we were eating, but this goes with that amazing. Like if you're gonna pair this with food, man, have that with a steak with gravy.
This is really good.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all that vanilla, man, right up on the front.
Wow! Something in your glass.
We'll give it in for a drink too.
Oh.
Hey, you know, I can't blame it. It just can't handle it.
Wow!
Yeah, right. You got to kind of clean the palate just so you can go back in fresh.
Wow! and here's so I've been giving history on all these guys, right? So it was founded by Alexander. So Macallan was founded by Alexander Reed in 1824.
Okay.
He was a barley farmer and a school teacher.
All right.
And it was one of the first distilleries in Scotland to be legally licensed. So they were one of the first legit.
Yeah.
You know,
I
probably legit to be given to a king.
That's pretty legit.
You know, think about it, right? Back in those days, right? And Macallan
would have been the
means
king of England at that point, right?
back in those days there were kings everywhere, man. Who knows? They had so many things going on back in those days. But Macallan means son of a handsome man. Which I could get behind that. I'm a handsome man. Don't look at me like that when I say that. Dude, it's my hair. It's my hair.
I don't know why he keeps...
It's my hair. You're jealous of my hair.
But you were not a Macallan.
Doesn't matter. I'm a handsome man.
All right.
Got you on that one. He's done. I got him. He's done. He's confused. He has no idea what's going on right now.
Stranger danger.
So I'm going to say, of the three so far, which I've enjoyed all the other two, neat. This is amazing.
Neat. This one wins.
This one, if there's a winner for neat, if we were doing a contest, right, which we're not, neat. Although they all were good neat.
Yeah.
This one blows them away neat. Like,
Well,
wow.
because you don't even, like you said, you don't even know that you're drinking Scotch. It's like you take a sip of it.
It's like silk. It's literally running down your mouth like silk. Yeah.
Buttery caramel, then the nice little fruitiness in there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very light-ish, I guess. I don't know how a Scotch is light.
Yeah, this is just...
Tastes delicious, though.
Wow. Like, worth every penny. If you really like somebody who likes Scotch, get them this for a gift. Get them all three. Get all three. You know what? If you like somebody, get them all three. Tell them Frisky Whiskey said you need to do all three of these. But in general, though, this is a great gift for someone you truly like. And you know who gave this to me? Wolfie.
Nice.
So we have a friend, Wolfie. He's a good friend of ours. We mentioned him. He was part of my first whiskey tasting before you were there. Yeah. And, you know, he obviously knew what to get me for a gift. This was my birthday gift. I've been sitting on it.
It's a nice gift.
I've been sitting on it for a while, actually, because, you know, you've seen my collection. I have bottles everywhere. I'm not an alcoholic, but I have bottles everywhere. Yeah. You know, and because my bottles last because I like the variety. But I've been saving this. And I think I was saving it not knowing that this was coming up.
It's perfect timing.
right? And I already had this. This was
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure we've drank that.
Oh no, you've had this at my house. Yeah. You've had the Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve at my house a few times now, but the Glenfiddich is new.
Yep.
And this is definitely gonna be added to the rotation for sure.
Absolutely.
But wow. All right, let's throw some ice in these glasses. Let's
get yourself some ice in there.
I got too much ice on that one.
Oh boy. Drop it back in there.
No, I won't do that. All right, here we go. Let me take do a little pour here.
I'm really hoping this doesn't dull it out too much. Because if this is perfectly rounded all the way.
I'm making this a little bit heavier pour because we liked it so much.
This is a really good Scotch.
Oh, yeah. So now I take it back. This will probably be the one we drink. We have our cigar after the show. This will probably be the one we have a cigar with. Yeah. I've had to take a guess.
I'd agree with that. What do you think of it with the ice?
Wow.
So it's interesting. To me, that smell, right? It actually kind of reminiscent of the oak at this point.
The oak is there. It was just funny because usually the ice mellows the oak.
Yeah.
The ice actually just this smell alone. I haven't really tasted it yet, but the smell of the oak has now appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah. So the caramel and vanilla that was initially when it was neat has kind of fallen away. So that's nice, actually. I don't mind that. What do you think of the flavor?
It's still mellow. I'm going to say it was silkier. I keep using that word silk. But
ooh, it came out with the spicy now.
The spicy's there, which is this thing's reversing on us. This is a reversal. Because normally the spice goes away with the ice. The ice brought the spice out.
It's the whole son of a handsome man thing. Reverse psychology.
He's talking about me again, everybody.
Just trying to confuse us as we're drinking it. No, this is still really good though. The spice is super mellow, and then it kind of is a little bit oaky.
That sherry's there. The oaky's there.
The
cherry comes out a little bit more.
The cherry comes out, and then it kind of finishes with the caramel, that butteriness.
I'm not getting the orange. I haven't gotten orange yet. So I'm if it's orange, maybe a Mandarin orange, which is a little bit sweeter. But I'm not even getting that. I'm reaching here, folks. I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
But wow. I mean,
this is really nice.
But I'm an ice guy with my drinks, but this neat, I think, is just this is probably more of a neat whiskey.
Yeah.
So
it's pleasant. I really like this.
All right. So we're getting slowly to the end here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about the Frisky Corner, where we talk about things going on out there. We talked earlier about the Renaissance Fest you went to. And the Renaissance Fest runs between February 4th to March 26th down in Boca. You got to check out their website for the themes. We had our themes all mixed up.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to go this weekend, but now I'm not going because we realized it wasn't Pirate Fest. Pirate Fest will be on March 11th at the Ren Fest. But go check it out. It's a good time. Did you do the pub crawl?
I did not, but there was plenty of it going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this pub's what you just walk around. You're doing your own pub crawl.
You basically walk around.
Did you get the EO quesadilla?
No, it wasn't there.
Oh, those bastards. Okay. All right. So, and then the next thing, we talked about it earlier. We have the Big Smoke Meets Whiskey Fest. It's March 4th. It's next weekend.
So excited.
So our next show next week, we're going to be doing old-fashioned mixers, which are pre-mixed old-fashions. We're going to do one that we like and bring in two we don't know about. Mm-hmm. But we're going to go over our VIP list and give you guys a hint of what's going on. And then because we messed up in the Red Fest, I found something to go do tomorrow. I'm going tomorrow.
All right.
And it's in Boca, but it's going to be down up here in Jupiter at the Collin Park Amphitheater between March 2nd and 12th. Mr. Swindle's Traveling
Peculiarium.
Yeah, I'm not even trying that word. All right, I had a couple cocktails. You did really good with that one. So it's like an old school, kind of like old school feel circus.
Yeah. Think of it. Yeah, think of the old school circus without the animals and without the freak show.
Exactly. Well, the contortionist might be a slight freak show, but it should be really cool. And then an hour before, there is the Dr. Elixir's Drink Garden. Yeah. So I'm gonna go tomorrow. So our next show, I'm gonna talk about what happened there too. What this Drink Garden was about. It's supposed to be elixirs and potions. I'm assuming it's cocktails and craft beers, if I had to guess. Yeah. And then also what's coming up too, which is going to be kind of cool, is the West Palm Beach Antiques Festival, which is the same weekend of the Whiskey Fest. Okay. And I went to this many years ago, and it was actually kind of cool.
So where's it at?
It's actually going to be at the South Florida Fairgrounds.
Oh, okay. I think I've been to that before.
It used to be at the Kravitz Center. But if you know, and it's not like a bunch of people are selling old crap. Let's be very clear. It's actually some unique stuff, and you can walk around. They have a bar. They sell cocktails, you know, and you know, I brought my own little thing, and so I was drinking my own little cocktails too. You know, but it's worth checking out. You know, you walk around. It's a good thing to go do during the day. Yeah. You know, go check it out. The Antiques Fest. So that's something pretty cool.
Is it free to go in, or
I think there's a cost to get in. It's like $10 to get in.
Most things there's like $10.
Yeah, it's like $10. It's like I said, you look at something to do on a Saturday or Sunday. Go check out the Antiques Festival.
Just don't buy any dolls because you're going to get haunted.
Yes, that does happen. That's a real story, by the way. Multiple real stories. You watch all those movies out there; they're out there, man. All right, so you know, we had a really good night tonight. Ti, this has been a great night tasting scotches. You know, I'm not there's a winner or a loser, but I'm going to say that Macallan neat was drinking silk.
It was so good.
It was so good.
You can't argue that, and the price point, it's really not like. There's a reason why it's a 72 bottle, and it proved it.
Yes,
like it has proven
it's worth its value in gold.
Yeah, exactly,
it really is. So, and then you know, at the end of every show, when we sign off, we're gonna enjoy a nice little cigar. So I got us some Crazy Alice cigars, which are nice little small, like they're like half cigars. Yep. And if you guys are cigar smokers, I'm gonna compare it to an acid, which has some flavor to it. Good. And once again, I got this from my good friends at Fox Cigars. They're based out of Arizona. Yep. You ever hit Scottsdale, Arizona? Go check out. They have 2 bars, great whiskey and cigar bar, and they have a great online presence.
Yep. Check them out at foxcigars.com.
Yep. And they have, like I said, great online presence, lots of selection on their website. They have great shipping, quick shipping. So sign up for their emails because they have great deals.
Yep, always good deals, and I believe they do free shipping all the time.
Yes, it's free shipping. Every order is free shipping, but you get great deals daily. Like I have to control myself sometimes, even though they're friends of mine, not to order what I see on the emails. Yeah. So my Frisky whiskey people out there, it was a great night tonight.
It was fantastic.
Ti had a good time tonight.
Mike D,
as always. Check out the Gastropub Locale Gastropub. Yeah. Good food. I had a great special tonight with the steak. It was
so good.
It was so good, and their chicken quesadilla and their Cuban egg rolls are amazing. Yep. So check them out. But everybody, have a great night tonight. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. And don't forget, when you listen to our podcast, click like, click subscribe. We need to grow, and the more we grow, the more we can do for you.
Exactly.
So make sure you click like and
share us with your friends.
And tell your friends about us and give us 5 stars.
All right.
Everybody have a good night.